your redesign going, and how's your your e-portfolio going?
I think it's going okay. I was trying to hire a student. Well, I thought I hired a student to look through some of the questionnaires that I collected about SI last semester,
Nice.
but she hasn't shown up, so I don't know what happened to that student. I even had some money to pay her, and I think she signed up for a unit, and now she's gone, so that piece
that's too bad.
is still a little bit behind. So hopefully I can find another student to do that. But we only have 4 SI leaders this semester, and it's going. I think they're doing better than they were last year or last semester. I still need to meet with them because I don't have the release time this semester to meet with them every week.
Oh, yeah.
So they're a little bit on their own.
Yep. Yeah. It's all time. We need those resources.
Yeah, but I feel like they're following the model a little bit better than they were last semester.
Mm-hmm.
The model of the SI kind of from, where's it from? Kansas or Missouri or?
Yes, right. Kansas City?
Kansas City, I
Which
think.
is in Missouri? I don't remember.
But the SI model here was really a hot mess, at least in chemistry. So I think it's getting better. Although I guess they're going to change the way they do the chancellor's office grants. The people in the faculty center are saying, and they'll be more like blocks, or like your department will go for one or something, which is much.
Oh.
And I think that's kind of a better, at least if you're going to do the SI or Gen Chem, it seems like a better idea because that's really not an individual faculty
right
thing. It really is a department thing.
Yeah,
like
you need buy-in from everybody.
Is they all went after one, but then there were like 5 faculty who got one, so they could really use it in their department to do significant changes, which is nice.
Yeah. I've heard, at least from some faculty here, that part went through course redesign, not necessarily this program, but other programs. They would redesign a course and then they would go on sabbatical or get assigned to teach something else, and the professor that was assigned to teach that same redesigned course didn't want to do it in the redesigned fashion.
Right,
exactly. They put all that effort into it, and then somebody else just didn't want to.
Department buy-in or forget it, right? And so if you do it more as a department, it seems like it's a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree.
Buy-in. Hi.
Hey, Lori.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay.
That's okay. We're the only ones here.
Okay, I was writing my final. I've got a final tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So you're not on spring break.
We're on the quarter system. Next week is spring break.
Oh my goodness.
So I wonder if Chico's on spring break.
Happens in a hurry. What's that?
I wonder if all the Chico people are on spring break.
Possibly.
I think so.
They're usually a little later.
Yeah, we're on spring break here at Sonoma.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Usually we have it during the American Chemical Society's national meeting, which is really nice because then spring break at the meeting.
Yeah, it's hit or miss for us. It's tricky because on the quarter system, it usually means it's maybe spring break, but also maybe week 1 or week 2 of classes, which is what it is this year. I think it's our first week of classes or second week.
Oh, that's hard.
So I'm getting back by Monday so I don't miss any classes. Are you going this year?
Yes. I have students presenting Sunday night and Monday night.
Oh, very nice. Excellent.
Where is this year?
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Oh, that's good.
For us, it's really close.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's a cheap flight, so it's worth it. And the really cool part is I'm on the local section of the ACS. I'm an alternate counselor. And one of our other counselors is a woman, and she invites me to share a room with her.
Oh,
so I don't have to pay for a hotel. It's so perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. It was a couple years ago. I'm like, do you think maybe I could, it was an awkward thing to ask because how do you say no to that? But anyway, we're really, she's a good friend, and it's nice to have some company. Usually you're in a hotel and you're all alone, and our schedules usually don't even match up that other than when we're sleeping, we barely even see each other, but that just cuts your expenses down by, at least in half.
Huge. Yeah.
Not more. So I've been very lucky to be able to go to the meetings lately.
Well, my brother just got an apartment in San Francisco, so I'm like, hey.
Oh, so cool.
Here.
Yeah. I don't even want to ask what the apartment cost in San
Yeah.
Francisco. That's got to be just
No, I didn't ask him how much it
crazy,
costs.
crazy. What does he do?
He's an engineer.
Oh, nice.
And he works in the South Bay, so he's been commuting, but he's very excited because he's never lived in I grew up in San Francisco, and so my mom and I lived there for years.
Oh, that's so neat.
When my mom remarried and had him, it was, I'd already it was my senior year of high school, so he never got to really live in the city. So
Right.
it's great. He's got an apartment in the city with a couple friends. He's got a job. He's turning 30 this year. Everything's coming together for him.
That's really exciting. Very
He's
cool.
like growing up. He's gonna get health insurance. It's great.
Yay!
He's like,
Wait, get it while you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
I'm
no, if he's getting through his job, he's good. Yes.
I'm starting to get worried about because we have to renegotiate that this year, and with all the changes that Trump's making, I'm getting a little worried.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the weird thing is, clearly the whole history of the United States was pre-Obamacare, right? And so we're in effect, we're going back to how crappy it used to be.
Yeah.
But, the point is now people are realizing like, hey, wait, shouldn't be that crappy. And we shouldn't have to just count on the emergency room for, our health care, and preventive care does make a difference and all that. It's like, nope, let's go back.
Let's go back.
Just crazy. Just insane.
Well, and it just seems like Trump really, really hated Obama.
Yeah.
He keeps like obsessing about him. It's weird. It's like getting a little bit like, okay, dude, maybe you should move on. Like,
Oh yeah. No, he's not so good at that.
We're all there. Excellent.
So how's everybody's projects doing?
Fantastically. I just finished up my e-portfolio from last year.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's nice to go back and fill in the gaps that you left or that you filled in hastily. Yeah.
That I never had in the first place, actually. Because
I gotcha.
I had never done this before I was the lead this year. And so I never made an e-portfolio. And so I've been doing it along with the rest of you, except I already have results. So I just plugged them in, and that was kind of fun.
It's good.
So,
I love that the periodic deadlines really make a difference because
yeah, it's kind of nice.
that's
for
what
us and
gets
for
you.
our students. Yeah.
In fact, so the course I'm redesigning is the one that starts now in a couple weeks. So right now I'm finally like figuring out everything I'm going to do. And I think I told you guys about the syllabus last time, redesigning the syllabus. And it was only because that was like the last stage, the most recent stage was like, okay, upload your new syllabus. I'm like, okay, I'll do it this weekend. Because otherwise you just would keep, it's not procrastinating as much as prioritizing, right? I mean,
Exactly.
whatever's not due tomorrow, I don't have time for, which is why I was working my final today.
Exactly.
I'm giving a talk on Friday for an ed tech conference from Wiley.
Oh, cool.
And it's on kind of using technology to engage your students.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, so after the final's written, now I have to finalize my talk and get going on that. So there's always something, right?
Make sure to put that in your poster, or your e-portfolio, I mean.
Yeah, I should. That'd be cool.
Yeah, what technology are you going to showcase in your talk?
I have like 8,000 things that I've kind of built up, personally over the past 20 years. And I kind of the talk is kind of about how like technology infused teaching, bigger, stronger, faster, something like that. So just how it can affect all the different areas of your teaching, including the affective domain where, your students are more enthusiastic about the course, you're more enthusiastic, and it can be kind of reinvigorating to try something new. And so it's kind of like the big picture. And then I go through just a whole bunch of examples and resources and, to get people just thinking about stuff they can do. Mm-hmm. So like for personally, I use clickers. I do calibrated peer review in my courses, which a lot of people haven't heard about. And, lecture capture stuff, online tutorials, pre-lab quizzes that you can do online. And so, a lot of this stuff was like really novel 10 years ago when I was developing, and now it's like, well, who doesn't do online homework, but I do have some data that supports it and talks about what a difference it can make. And so, and actually I just went to one of these a couple weeks ago in New Orleans, and they demonstrated Kahoot. Have you guys used that before?
I've seen it. Yeah.
We might have even seen it at the summer session. I don't remember. So Kahoot is something that my kids have used in their, like elementary or junior high classes. And it's like multiple choice questions, but it's in a game show style format. So you just create a thing. It's all free. You create a thing, you start it up, and everyone just brings up their devices, go to kahoot.it, and it gives a 7-digit code that they type in. And then everyone joins the game show, and they just type in a fake name, so all these names start popping up that are kind of funny. And then you post a question, and it's timed, so you could set the time for each question, how long you'd like it per question, 10, 20, 30 seconds. And you get points for getting it right, but the fun part is the quicker you answer, the more points you get.
Oh, interesting.
So that all of a sudden, anyway, so I just did it, and I heard about this a week and a half ago. I'm like, right in time for my last week of classes. I'm like, what a great way to review for the final.
Oh, yeah.
So I put together a 15 question quiz for substitution SN1, SN2 chemistry, which is like crazy, really tough stuff and so many details. And so they're all just kind of simple questions about it, but it really got at the things I wanted to review anyway. And normally I would have done it by just a series of clicker questions, which is still interesting, but so much more boring compared to this. And this, oh my God, the whole class is in and they're cheering and they're excited. And, once you click, you can't change your answer. So, you hear people click, they're like, oh, because they read another choice. So anyway, it was just a lot more fun. And they're joking like, hey, can the final be like this? Why is, So I thought it was a really positive experience and just kind of a good way to get at, and something I wanted to do anyway.
Man, I might have to look at that and just try it, because I have a feeling after spring break and get back the midterm that we took in advanced and organic chemistry that morale might be low. Might be kind of a fun thing to do.
Yeah, and so opportunities. I think review is a great way to do it. But then also when you get your midterm back, and there's here are these 5 questions that there were confusions or people bombed, and that could be a thing that you put up there and say, let's look at these again. And so, but now here's the thing: is anything that gets them taking their devices out. I mean, right? There's pros and cons, and there's the 2 camps. They don't use devices in my classes. Few people have their phones out or whatever, but for the most part, we're just writing furiously the whole time using my skeleton notes. And so what I did was I did it as the last activity.
Oh,
and that way, okay, everyone's got their phones out. I know they're not going away once they take them out, and I'm cool with that because it was my last thing for the day. Or if I didn't really know how long it was going to take. So I gave myself a little extra time, and if I had time extra, this was another problem we were going to work on. But it wasn't like I would ever have to try and reel them back in afterwards to say, okay, now let's go back to lecture or whatever you want to do. And it's funny because I put up a problem, so the problem I didn't have time for, because we only had 5 minutes left. So I put this up and I said, this problem's online. The key's already online, so this is something else you should work on and try. And immediately, since everyone already had the phone, they're just like, click. They didn't bother writing anything down. They just took a quick picture of it, and so that kind of made it even easier for them to just make that note for themselves. But it's funny because it's Kahoot, Kahoot.
Oh, I should write that.
But if you do Kahoot.com, it brings you to some crafting site. So it's called getkahoot.com is the website, getkahoot.com. Or if you say Kahoot quiz, if you Google that, you'll find the link. And then the place they go to log in is kahoot.it, so Kahoot it. So I'm always a little lost trying to find it, but once I got it going.
IT stand for, of course.
What's that?
I was thinking IT stood for some kind of technology thing.
Yeah, it might be, but I thought maybe something cool. I could say Kahoot it. But then the other interesting thing is once you make a quiz in Kahoot, it's now part of the public, part of the site. So you share it. And so that's kind of nice because you can look and see, hey, maybe there's already a quiz on this. Now, they had some organic chemistry, and it seemed like high school, it was kind of really general overview things, so not really applicable to me. So this was really focused on. So I made the title SN1, SN2, substitution, so that anyone else who wanted to do it had it in there. And then, but then it's funny because I wanted to add a question about me, to make to give the other students a chance. Like maybe they didn't get the chemistry right, but they could still hang in there. But I couldn't put a question about me because then that's not good for the public. So what I did was I put a blank question and I said, bonus question. And I just said A, B, C, D. And then I put it up on the board with an overhead transparency. And it was like, which of the following is not one of Dr. Starkey's interests? And I had like all the crap that I have in my office. So I said like anime and Pez dispensers and, UConn. And so I said, this is to check to see if you came to office hours this quarter. Because if you've been in my office, this question would be a piece of cake. So I built that in there. But anyone else who takes the quiz, there's a button where you hit a question, you could just hit skip, and then you could jump over, or they could add their own question if they wanted to. And I put in the note for the instructors. I said the correct answer is C. So if you want to add your own, customize your own question, just make the right answer C, and then you've built it in. So I kind of had that little workaround to make it a little more interesting.
Oh, that sounds really fun.
But yeah, it was fun. It was interesting. I thought it was, and the cool thing is I did it in the workshop. The faculty did it. We all did it. And you just get so invested. You just get so excited. Your heart rate goes up. You get excited. You're like trying to click and you want to get the right answer. There's just that it's tapping into something in your brain, that competitive spirit that humans have. And so, I mean, that's got to be firing more neurons and making the answer stick better. So I don't know. It's worth a try, right?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't, I was out of town then for the Mindset PLC. I don't know if you guys went to that one.
Or go.
So I need to watch that. That recording still, because that's, definitely that's going to be my spring break, is coming up with those lessons for the first several weeks, trying to figure out what I want to work on. So I
spent some time last night after I was finishing my ePortfolio putting information on those 2 Google Docs that we have for our cohort.
Oh, great.
On assessment questions. I just put links to PDFs of my pre and post tests.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
And some of which are discipline specific, so that's boring, but the others are sort of attitudes and demographics, so that might be more helpful.
That's great.
But more to the point was the other Google Doc was for resources, particularly websites, citations, bibliography of different topics. And the one thing that we don't have any citations for right now is that mindset.
I'm sorry. I have a whole document that every time I find something, I grab it and throw it there. In fact, I shared it with Brett Christie because I knew I wasn't going to be there Friday.
Yeah.
I sent it to him ahead of time and I said, just FYI, if these are helpful, you could share them on my behalf, I'm sure there's a big overlap because a lot of it even came from the Summer Institute, right? So, but anyway, I have things that definitely I can share there. And when I update my talk for Friday, I'll pull out all my technology things. I'm actually going to make a website so that it's just always there.
Yeah.
Just so, and so I'll share those too. I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because I would like more, especially as I write institutional and educational grants, it's nice to have those repositories of literature to cite.
Yeah, it's crazy to reinvent the wheel every time.
Yeah. That's where I got all the references I posted on that Google Doc, was from all of my grant applications that I've sent in the last.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm just looking at these references that I have to see if any of it. So a lot of them are on Stereotype thread as well. So I don't know if you want those.
Oh, that's interesting.
I added a section on inclusion. So yeah, please do if you feel like
it. I have one like mindsets and human nature, promoting change in the Middle East, the schoolyard, and the racial. So I guess a lot of these, more like on the Stereotype thread. I thought I had a bunch on the mindset as well. The effects of emotion on attitude, a review of intentional processing of emotional information. That's a cognitive and emotion one. Yeah. I'll look around and see.
If you have the time and the inclination, please share.
That's great.
References. I don't have the papers, but
worse to have too little than it is to have too much.
There's a book. Okay, I'm trying to look up the title. I forget it. There's a book about, it's written by students, and it's about like college students, about like what we wish our professors knew.
Oh, yes.
Have you heard of that, or did you?
Did you send that link out? Is that the link you sent out?
Oh, did you? Where did I get it from? Was it maybe from you? I forget where I got it from.
Maybe that is what I don't remember. I've seen it recently anyway.
It was from a journalism class.
Yeah.
And the journalism professor gives his students an assignment each time, and a lot of times the students' collected works he puts out as a book. And so some were on race relations and other things. And so now he has a book called something like what, dear teacher, dear professor, this is what we want you to know. I forget the title of it, but it's got tons of chapters, one of which is on technology. So again, that's something I'm going to be reading before my talk. Things like, having a zero technology policy in your classroom. What's the point of that? What's the student response to that? But then it has stuff on, race and gender and, syllabus and plagiarism. And, so it's all like the student's point of view and opening as a way to open the dialogue of, okay, what works, what doesn't work. So, a lot of it I think is millennial stuff. And then also just no kidding kind of things like, someone who doesn't follow their syllabus, is going to be rated poorly and thought of poorly and thought of as disorganized. I'm like, yeah, I hope so. Right.
Yeah. That seems like
so, yeah, I don't know how much of it is going to, I just ordered the author said, it's something like $30 on Amazon, but it says, the article I read said if you email the author, he'll send you a free copy of the ebook in exchange for promising to answer a survey or maybe leave a review on Amazon or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, sure, that I would love to read about it. But it's a lengthy book. It's like a couple hundred pages. It's not this little pamphlet. So I think it'll be interesting. I'll find the link. I'll send it out. I'll send it to Joe in case. Unless Joe's the one who sent it to me.
Well, I'm happy to.
I don't want to be redundant. Does that sound familiar? I forget where I saw it.
No, well, it came from Joe. I thought this in the last couple of weeks, there was a link to this book, and I just read kind of the beginning page of it.
Right.
And it was like the students telling the professors kind of what they liked and what they didn't like.
I think that's exactly it, yes.
There were some things, of course, too, that I have to be a little bit... that I was a little bit hesitant on, like students want their cell phones out all the time.
Right.
Too bad.
Yes.
Wanting to take notes on their laptop. Okay. I don't see a problem with that, but if there's a professor who doesn't like it, that's
right.
It's their.
Yeah. It's called To My Professor, Student Voices for Great College Teaching.
Right. Oh, yeah, I did send it out.
Yeah, you sent that to me, so I followed up on that. I went to the website, and they said they said you could get a free ebook. So Joe Grimm is the author. Grimm.
Well, I know what I didn't like about it is that they were saying how they're our boss because they pay us and we work for them, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, my son, he's not my boss.
No, I get that. So it doesn't mean we're going to agree with everything they say,
right?
But the point is, this is what students think.
Right, but I think
so it's good to know that,
right? Because
so that you could address it.
Boss, right? If they knew everything, they didn't need to come to college, and so
right.
Yeah, they do pay for the college experience, but that doesn't mean that they're the customer and that customer mindset of I'm the customer, I should get what I want, I should be happy.
Right.
That's a really dangerous and a slippery slope. I think
absolutely
to get the students into that mindset because that would put us on the let's just give you guys all A's and make it as easy as possible and you don't have to struggle with hard material. Right.
And but then things like students want to have their cell phones out or whatever the position is. Yeah. It's that's fine. Personally, if that's not my philosophy in my classroom, I need to address that.
Right.
And talk about the logic and the rationale. I understand it's frustrating for you not to have your phones out when you're used to it. Here is why I have this policy, right? Because if you don't address that, then you just have immediately everyone in your classroom with these negative feelings, and pissed off when you could alleviate it with a 30-second discussion. So it's that's what I am interested in is seeing, I'm guessing there aren't going to be too many surprises to me, but what are the things that I might be missing that maybe I can bring out and clear the air, or maybe you look at your policy and say, and then you read their point of view, well, I like to take notes. I like to look something up rather than ask a question in class because I'm embarrassed, or, look at their point of view. You're like, oh, well, maybe my policy isn't doesn't really make as much sense as I thought it did. I mean, I don't know, but it, you know, I think going into it with an open mind and listening to it, you know, doesn't mean you have to agree with everything. Doesn't mean that they're not full of shit. but at least, I mean, you have to validate, you know, their emotions are valid, right?
Well, their emotions are definitely valid.
Whether they're crazy or not.
Right. And so your policies are definitely valid too.
Right. Right. Right.
So,
But you should have rationale for your policies. It's not, well, that's because that's how I was taught 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It should not be your rationale for your policy. You should have a, you know, a reason for the things you're doing.
Yep.
And then you should be able to explain that to your students. And if you don't have, if you're missing that, that's when you say, well, wait, why do I do that? I don't know.
Because
no, I absolutely agree. But I think once you have that rationale and you tell the students, I don't think it's fair for them. And we have this on campus, right? For the students to say, well, I still don't agree, but I'm paying and I'm the customer, therefore I'm right.
Right.
And and I don't care what the faculty member's rationale is.
Right.
And we get I see this. And
of course.
Then how do you, well,
I think if more of us were on the same page about not being hypocritical, we're trying to develop evidence-based decision makers in our classes.
Yeah.
And yet when we set up the classes, I think what Lori's getting at is that we're not providing the students the evidence that we use to make the decisions on how we set up the classes. And if everybody did that, did that across the board, if all of the faculty did that, then I think that would change the cultures on the campus from the student perspective. I think we'd get less of the I'm the consumer, I'm paying you, if we did it systemically.
Right.
Well, it's interesting because in the last 15 years, I've seen this attitude grow.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that attitude 15 years ago. Now, of course, we didn't have cell phones as prevalent 15 years ago, but...
Well, there's always been some technology to distract students.
Huh?
Yes.
Doodling, paper and pen. Paper and pen have been around for decades. That's been a distraction. Let's get rid of that.
Right.
So the consumer attitude, I feel like is just really a recent...
Yeah.
And maybe I missed it 15 years ago. Maybe I was so new and I didn't,
Well, I think, a lot of that is the conversation coming from the media too, and from, and the fact that college is, 3 times more expensive than it was 15 years ago. Right. So it's like costs have skyrocketed so that people are really thinking about what are they getting for their money. And there's so much talk about, get rid of tenure and, because there are customers and blah, blah, blah. So I think that rhetoric is coming from the public.
Yeah.
And so of course it trickles down to the students, and then you have the helicopter parents and the everyone with the sense of entitlement. So the
I think
narcissism and the entitlement is kind of off the charts these days with the current generation. So I think that's part of it. But again, it is what it is.
Right.
So knowing that and knowing your students the best you can means I'm going to be a better parent to my kids if I can deal with that and handle it and be transparent about it. And I'm going to be a better teacher to my students because I'm not going to just say, oh, you guys are idiots. I don't care what you think. It's, I understand this is probably what you're thinking. Let me tell you why we're doing it this way. Let me tell you why, I've heard you and this is how I've changed. Or you can even say, I used to do it this way and I've changed it because I think this is a more fair way to do it. Here's why I'm not going that extra 10 yards where you really think I should be, it's like you can maybe even talk about, no, I've adjusted, I've moved, and so they don't think you're just this dictator, because there are dictators out there in the classroom who honestly don't care what their students think, and honestly, want to put as many barriers to their learning as possible because they think that's the way you earn your merit and earn your A, so
well,
I've had those experiences. Those experiences are real and genuine. I don't want it to be in my class that they're having that experience.
Right.
Especially in organic chemistry where it's very much.
They're already coming in terrified.
My molecule is bigger than your molecule.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Area.
I'm inclined to agree with both. I think, is there anything we can do about instant gratification? I think maybe it's more that.
I think there are, I think that quiz can be instant gratification because when you're grappling with these concepts of especially with SM1 and SM2 reactions and looking at reaction mechanisms and looking, really deep into some of these hard concepts that you're not going to get instant gratification if you're going to have to grapple with that material and spend a lot of time. But then could you give this fun little quiz so they can get instant gratification along the way?
Yeah.
Right.
Or can you...
That's the benefit of using technology is you can do those little instant gratification things. But I'm saying sorry, my perspective was the opposite, I think, which is that I think that's the problem with students and distraction and mobile tech, is it's not so much that it's a technology that distracts them. Like I said, paper and pen have been around forever, but it's that with mobile devices, students get that instant gratification. So I'm not sure it's the growing consumerism, more the fact that people expect to get things faster.
And they want something for their money too, right? Because I've been thinking about this thing with the college cost for a long time in textbook costs, right? And the CSU still has the best deal in town, right? I mean, it's $1,700 a semester. What can you get for $1,700 these days, right? I'm thinking of my house payment per month.
Right.
Is a little bit more than that. And so it's a really good deal. We're really good at what we do. We're really thoughtful, and students are getting a great deal, and some of them are getting financial aid and that kind of stuff. So let's round it up to $2,000. So that's $4,000 a year. My mom's best friend sent her kid to Yale. You know, that was $100,000.
Right.
And, you know, I'm sure he had a great experience, but, you know, I'm trying to grapple with this, like, oh, college costs are going up and up and up. And it's true. I mean, when I went to the CSU, it was $400 a semester. And now it's,
oh my gosh. Wow.
So it has gone up. But so has a lot of other things. When I was at San Francisco State, you could buy a house in San Francisco for a lot less. So and what was it supposed to stay? It's just hard for me to grapple with. It's like, I don't have a solution. Yeah, it's gone up, but so have a lot of other things.
Right.
Well. I mean, maybe everything should stay back. I don't know. It's an interesting thing in this whole.
Well, it's out of our hands. It's
out of my hands. Yeah.
There's so many things that are out of our hands. So the only thing that we have any control over is how we design our courses and how we interact with our students. Right. And what we do to support them and support their learning and support their success. So, you know, that's all we have control over. And so I'm always in the quest of, okay, here's my little tiny domain in my life and my students' lives. How can I maximize that? How can I do everything possible so I'm not leaving anything out, you know, on the table? And so, you know, and the other things that are external influences, you know, that's what we're always responding to. And that's what the students are always responding to as well. So the more we can be aware of that and you know, help them deal with it, I think.
We're getting a lot of pressure to do these like alternative textbook solutions.
Yeah, I'm not there.
And not sold yet. I think I mentioned this before. You know, I'm not sold that the wiki thing, the ChemWiki,
yeah, no,
better yet.
No.
And you know, than using an old edition of Gen Chem book. And I haven't looked at it for organic chemistry, so I can't say anything.
No, same thing. It's an encyclopedia. I mean, it's great for getting information and getting definitions and seeing a couple examples, but a textbook is a textbook, you know, where you just have like hundreds of pages and thousands of examples to work on. And, you know, nothing beats it. So, you know, we're lucky that we teach a year-long sequence. I don't know what you teach, Joe, but you know, OChem, Gen Chem, they're a year-long sequence, so they are getting a decent investment with that. I mean, it's still $300 is ridiculous, but, you know, at least it's a decent investment. They're going to use it again in biochemistry or in MCATs or something like that. It's when you have those one-semester courses, or for us, a one-quarter course, like, oh my God, how can you justify, you know, $100 book? It's painful.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan. I'm a textbook author, so I can't even. I'm like, no, don't go away, textbook. But I honestly believe in it. And I mean, the good news is, you know, ebooks sometimes are a better alternative. You can rent rent electronic books now. So, I mean,
I like ebooks. Of course, I'm spoiled because, you know, we get both because I've got the textbook and I've got the ebook. So then I can be on my computer and I can pull up the ebook very conveniently, but then I can also open my hard copy. So it's really nice. And it's nice to be able to have like a ton of books now in a very small device, like on my iPad.
Right. And searchable. Right. I mean, that's something you can't do with a textbook, right? That's fantastic. But I also I get so lost every time I'm reading an ebook and then you jump, you're like, where was I? You know, I mean, I am a Post-it note girl. I flip. I mean, I love. I mean, you know, maybe I'm a dinosaur, but there's even reading a regular book, like a, you know, fiction or something, you see how far you are in the book. You see how, you know, you flip, oh, I'm a couple pages from the chapter. I can see the book is ending. I listen to books on tape, and you put in that last CD and you're like, is it 10 minutes? Is it an hour? I have no idea when the story's going to end. You're like always on the edge of your seat. So, you know, there is something visual about that, you know, the words, and maybe that's just me and the way my brain processes things, but I always get lost in an ebook. And then you jump to the, you know, solution for the problem, and you can't come back. And so, you know, maybe the time I save
with my ebook too.
Right. So the time I save, you know, searching for things, I lose finding where the hell I was. I need like little breadcrumbs. Ugh. So anyway, but it, you know, it has advantages and disadvantages for sure. So especially some of them you only get for like 2 years. You know, if you buy an ebook, it expires after 2 years, and forget that. I mean, that's now again, you know, this whole cloud computing is just a waste of time.
As you can see in my office, all my books, you know, the students come in here and they're like, I have a lot of books.
Yeah, we've got the same.
I always get amazed, like, have you read those books?
Of course, twice each.
So with the chancellor's office money that we're doing for SI, I had put in there, and you know how it is, you write these grant proposals and you think, okay, this looks good. I had put $3,000 in there for technology. And then later I was like, oh, it's like my NSF grant, I'll just buy whatever I want with it. It doesn't really matter. But our faculty center's like, oh no, you put $3,000 in there for technology, you need to use it. I'm like, really? Can't we just reclass it? But then I started thinking, well, maybe we should just buy something with it. So my first thought was I'll buy some iPads, and then we can put that, we already have 12 iPads we could put in the collection for the department. And some of the SI instructors could check them out and I could give them some training on it. And then I thought, well, maybe I could buy a laptop. But are there any other things that you can think of? Because 3,000 seems like, at least for the iPads, would go very far.
Yeah.
There's also these other neat tablets out there. Any other suggestions to buy technology with it that I can, you know, technically it is for the SI component, but it could probably be used for other things in the department as well.
A couple of things that I'm interested in, that are like tens of dollars, not hundreds of dollars, but, you know, like the Doceri app, you know, is $30-$60, something like that. I wanted to get that for myself. The Apple Pencil.
Oh, that looks cool.
Super cool.
So the Apple Pencil, can you only use that with the... It's
for a tablet, presumably any tablet, but people use it with the iPad as a way to do, like, and I guess that's the you know, best out there for having a stylus. And so, and I think that's a couple $100 or somewhere along that line. And it's not cheap. You know, maybe $100 to $200. So that's really cool. The Doceri app, another one, I forgot another app. But another thing that I'm interested in is the lighted board. Do you remember seeing that?
Those are expensive, Lightboard.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Yep.
Did they have it? They had it at the Summer Institute, I think. It's like a plexiglass panel.
Okay, and you can see through both sides.
Right, you write on it with like fluorescent marker kind of thing, and so the writing lights up. Yeah. Now, at Cal Poly in engineering, they bought all the materials because there are videos on how to make one yourself. So that might be something that's cost effective if you have a department on campus that would like to work on it.
Yeah.
And you could use it across campus. And so that I think would be a really cool technology thing to have and, you know, work with.
We just built one. Well, not we. On campus.
Cool.
Our media center just built one, and I've been using it to record videos.
Oh, yay. Oh, you have to share some.
A lot of fun, but it's...
You like it?
Let's see, I'll chat you a URL. I do like it a lot, and the students love it too, but they're expensive. I asked initially, I know San Diego State, they were offering the startup that came out of San Diego State that sells them.
Oh,
right.
Even the price of the mobile version was well beyond
it's you.
The technology.
Inquired about how we determine the order of
stop it.
Sorry, yeah, I know. I played it and then I paused it. We'll watch it later.
That's okay.
I'll have to watch it later, yeah. But
yeah. Except right now you look like this ghost that's in the middle of, it looks like a scene out of Conjuring.
Okay.
Sweet.
Awesome. So I'm sorry, you're saying that you were going to buy it from San Diego State, and it was how much? What's the?
It was. I don't remember what the amount was, but it was more than I had budgeted for tech. It was more than the total budget for CR that I got.
Wow.
So it was like tens of thousands of dollars.
It was like a few $1,000s at least, I think. Several, that maybe.
Okay.
And that was just a desktop setup. And
Oh.
so they have mobile versions. They have small versions that are supposed to be sort of semi-portable. But it's much better if you have an institutional one, I think. There's benefits, of course, to having one that's easy for you to have access to. I have to walk across campus to our library to use ours, which is not far. It's a 10-minute walk. But I have to schedule a good chunk of my day to go over there and then do a bunch of recordings back to back. But it's nice to have somebody else. We have one of our media guys, Eric West, does all of the processing for me. So I just walk up there, I do all the recording. He takes the recording and flips it so that it looks like I'm writing the correct direction and not mirrored, and does all the processing, and then sends me the final versions of the movie that you see on YouTube.
Perfect.
So that's nice. It would have taken me a lot more work to figure it out on my own what software I need to do that video manipulation to reverse it so that I'm writing the proper direction and not back.
Right. So that's maybe partnering with your, Media Vision or IT or e-learning or whatever that, institution is on campus, a division on campus, and say, hey, I have some money that we can buy these materials. Would you, if you can use a chunk of your 3,000 for that, I think that would be something that, iPads are awesome, but that would be something that allows you to do something you can't do now.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Creating new lessons or, every time I see it, I'm like, oh, this would be so cool to make some videos with it. Except the funny thing is, one of the things I would love to do is stereochemistry, but my head would explode trying to do like clockwise and counterclockwise. But I'm like, no, wait, you're seeing this and I'm seeing that. Like,
well, the good thing is you don't have to worry about it. No, you don't worry about it. You draw it just like you normally do.
You do, but your projection's not flipped. So I would still have to. It gets weird because I've done some videos with the models before, and I have to it gets really weird because you're looking at things clockwise versus counterclockwise. Completely depends on your point of view. So it's trippy, but maybe I'll find something other than stereochemistry to work on.
It totally works.
Yeah.
It totally works. When I'm facing the camera and I say my right side, after the video is processed, what I say is on my right side is also on the viewer's right side.
Okay.
So stereochemistry, anything like that, where you think you're facing, so you need to reverse everything.
Right. No, but that's true. But here's the thing: when you're holding up a model now, my right side is the viewer's left side.
No, so it becomes their right side as well after the video is processed. It's crazy.
Yes, but you're okay. We'll check. I don't think the video of you is flipped. I think just the board is flipped.
No, the whole video is flipped. So when you look at me in that video,
it's the mirror image of you.
It's the mirror image of me.
Okay, so it's the enantiomer Joe.
Yeah.
Is what you're looking at. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Leave a room for Joe.
I thought it was just the screen. I didn't know it was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. It's the whole video. Just gets flipped like that.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Okay. Now
I can't wait to mess around with it. We have the materials. I don't think it's going to be built maybe till summer. So which is good because it's like, okay, I don't have to try and find a time to work on it. But so that might be something to do with it. But when I just applied for the CRT for next year too, and I put in why didn't I said an Apple Pencil or something else, just like a couple $100. I didn't put in lots of money, but like, hey, let's get some of those good toys.
Yep. Yeah. But the thing that I spent the most money on, I think, is a big flat screen TV for my office as a digital whiteboard.
Oh, cool.
So I plug. It's not up yet. It's sitting over here in a box on that giant box.
Wow.
Yeah. Watch the game, have some beer. No.
Right.
Connect the iPad to it, and then when I have students in my office, instead of a whiteboard, I can draw on my iPad, and it shows up on the flat screen. So I can have a lot more instead of students crowding around my tablet.
Yeah.
And then, like I do in class, I capture the office hour too, and I post it online.
Nice.
Okay, so that's just a TV?
It's a TV. It's a Samsung 50-inch.
Oh, and then you just hear it with the AirPlay.
So you could, yeah. So you can either plug in directly. It's an HDMI TV, so you can just get an adapter, an HDMI adapter for the iPad or whatever tablet.
Huh.
HDMI directly into the tablet. Or yes, I also bought an Apple TV, and that's, you have to talk to your campus about, because different campuses will have different hoops you have to jump through to get your Apple TV connected to your campus's internet.
Oh,
But once you do, then yes, you can wirelessly project from your tablet directly to a TV.
I've had sketchy luck with AirPlay just at home. You know, it's like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it's slow, sometimes it hangs. So any hardwire, I would always prefer.
Right. So I'll have both options.
Since you're right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Time with AirPlay on my phone, from my phone, but I had the department retreat at my house, and with my laptop, I was able to then throw that onto my TV at home.
Yep.
So we had
Yep.
the agenda for the retreat and everything on there.
Yep.
Cool.
But I didn't even think about bringing that here to my
Yeah.
office. I don't know why. That's interesting. So you just went ahead and bought a regular Samsung TV.
Yep.
And now you can.
Are you going to use that as your regular monitor too then, or?
No, just as a whiteboard. I've got enough
Just up
monitors
there.
in my office.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Right, because you could use
I
it.
could, I suppose, but
Interesting. Okay.
Well, see, I have the iMac that the monitor is the computer.
yes.
That's
So
what I have too.
I'm stuck with my monitor. I mean, it's a nice monitor, but
Yep.
yeah, I would really have room for that. But that's a
Yeah.
sweet idea.
Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah. Happy shopping. You'll have to report back and let us know what new toys you have.
Yes. Having extra money is always the biggest
I
problem.
know. God, what am I going to do?
I have extra money. What do I do?
Love it. I love it.
Okay, well, I guess I'm going to take off. I told my boy since I'm on spring break, I would pick him up at 2:30 and he wouldn't have to go to aftercare.
You know what I just realized looking at the clock on your wall?
Yep.
Is you forgot to change it.
I got it.
I did that once and I missed a department meeting because that Monday, like it was Tuesday and I didn't have classes Monday, whatever it was, totally forgot my wall clock.
Well, and I don't know what people did without the internet, without
I know.
I automatically updating me yesterday.
No, I'll tell you what we did. We missed the school bus because mom had no idea. And so I was the kid who always showed up late to school that next day because there was no internet. So it's much nicer these days.
Oh man.
But yes, let's go change our clocks right now.
Sounds good.
Okay, well, good to see you.
Yeah, same here.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, take care. Enjoy the rest of your break.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Joe.
Absolutely. I'm gonna head off too then, unless you got other things you want to talk about.
Nope, that's good. I have office hours for my midterm tomorrow, my final tomorrow,
Wow.
so I need to get to them.
Fantastic.
All right, take care.
See you next time.
Bye.